You're listening to Zap Night, a video game review podcast, with your hosts, Danny and Kaylie. Hey guys, and welcome to Zap Night. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm your co-host, Kaylie.
Today we're reviewing Mario 3, and we're reviewing Mario 3 with Lori and Brandon.
Hi!
So, we should be playing Pokemon, and it didn't happen. I think we're just gonna delay Pokemon indefinitely until we have a chance to actually sit down and play, because Kaylie's gonna be gone for a few months.
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
She's got mommy brain
stuff.
So
yeah.
We might have to bear with her a little bit on her terminology. We're going to be having a few special guests within the next couple months. I have a few things lined up. We're going to be doing Mortal Kombat. I've got Legend of Dragoon lined up, some Sonic. So I have a few things lined up. Should be a lot of fun, but I'll make sure that everybody knows what's going on the website. Check us out at zapnight.com, where you can find everything we've ever done and our contact stuff. I finally put our email address in there. Yeah, finally.
No wonder no one's been contacting
I know,
us.
Seriously, I was thinking the same thing. So yeah, check us out at zapnight.com. So Mario 3 originally came out in 1988 in Japan, and then didn't get released in North America until 1990. It was released for the Nintendo, by Nintendo. I think it was pretty well received. A lot of people really like this game, and it's for good reason. I think it's a good step up from Mario 1. Mario 2 is not exactly Mario 2 because it was it was originally developed for something else. And
they got just changed.
Yeah, they just changed it. So Mario 3 is the official new Mario game at the time. You really can see it. You can see that they put a lot of development work into this. So for story, there is a slight story to it. From what I understand, I don't have the booklet, so I can't really read the story, the official story, but from what I understand, it's specifically meant to be a play scenario.
Really?
Yeah.
Where have I been? Apparently I've been very pregnant.
You can actually see it in the graphics.
Yeah, it makes sense now, but I guess I just never made that connection.
Yeah, I mean, you got the intro, which has the falling down curtain thing. And all throughout the game, too, you can, fall behind the background.
Yeah,
and it's
I guess it makes sense now. Oh my gosh, my mind is blown right now.
Story-wise, basically, you are Mario trying to save the princess like you are in every Mario game. But this time, you're not only saving the princess, but you're also saving all the kings along the way in each world. And the kings who have been turned into some creature. The dog is in the first level, I think the spider is in the second level, and so on. And then you finally save the princess at the end. Other than that, there's not much for story. I mean,
no.
I actually gave it a decent score for story. I gave it a 7.
Oh. I gave it a 3.
Really?
Well, I don't know. I've been thinking long and hard about this one where they don't really need a storyline, but I felt like this one kind of did. I don't know. I feel like it should really be explained. Even if it was just the very beginning, if it was a little more explained.
Yeah, it could have been in the beginning, but if you think about a traditional Mario game where, especially with these old Nintendo systems, there is no save file. So if you were to sit down and just play Mario for the sake of playing Mario, you have to sit down and go through the whole story thing over and over and over again. So it makes sense for them to have the story portion of it in the booklet. Here it is years down the road, and yeah, we don't see the story, but the story was there. It was put into it. It just I don't know.
I feel like two or one or whatever, two games down the line, we could have done a little bit better on the story, just a little bit.
The story wasn't focused on. I don't think it really takes away from the game, so that's why I gave it a 7, where it's not really necessary, but it is there, which is better than some of the other games we've reviewed, where there's just no story and no back history of what the heck is going on. It's just, here you are, do your thing. I mean, it's not like Q*bert. Not that we've reviewed Q*bert, but you just
leave Q*bert alone.
That was Q*bert talk, by the way. But yeah, I mean, story, it's not really existent, but it didn't take away from the game any.
I don't know. I could have given it a 5 for neutral, but I don't know. I just felt like they could have done just a smidge better.
All right, well,
But now
cool.
that you know it's a play, you should probably bust it. I mean, it just blew your mind.
I think
Yeah, her mind is blown.
I think we should mention before we begin that Brandon is very biased for this. This is Brandon's favorite Mario.
Yeah, I am
Brandon's-
super biased on it.
Brandon's gonna give it bonus points wherever he can.
Pretty much. It's an 11 out of 10.
Aw,
No, I mean, you're right. There's like no story.
there's no story.
It's the same story that there is. Even like, still to this day, they give a little bit more exposition, but back then it's like, yeah, you had to read the instruction booklet, which we don't get those anymore. And have you ever seen the instruction booklet for 3 ever?
Not for 3 specifically.
No,
No,
I have a handful of instruction booklets, but 3 isn't one of them, unfortunately.
So,
But I'm sure you can find it. I'm sure there's a scan of it online
there's
somewhere.
probably a PDF somewhere.
Oh
but-
yeah, I'm sure.
But that's, like, I think you said, like, back in the day, when you got a game, you looked through the instruction booklet, you read, and you got the story, so...
So when you were a kid, did you have the booklet? Did you read it and stuff?
I had the booklet, I don't remember if I read it. I just wanted
Even
to
if
play
you
back
did,
then.
I mean, it's been so many years since it came out. I mean, what are the odds that if you read it, you'd remember reading?
Well, no, I'm just saying. As a kid, did you
what's-
read it?
Side note here: what's really sad about the games of this era is that the boxes were just thrown away.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
Like now the boxes are well preserved. Any boxes that you get, it's like that's part of the buying a physical copy of a game, where back then it was like they were just thrown out.
You know what's funny about that is when we go to these like older game stores, you see the old boxes. Like we saw like Frogger the other day. It was really cheap, but it was like, oh my gosh, this is the original box.
I know.
I felt like I was probably looking at an antique. It was just like, oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
is.
But I am still sad when I open up a case and there's nothing in there anymore.
No booklet.
But yet they still
Yeah.
put the holders in there, like they want to
Where-
put
where
something in
you can
there.
put your receipt.
Yeah, seriously.
That was the first thing I always did when I got a game, as I was opening it up. and
Yeah, I
would
remember
flip through
doing
the
that.
instruction booklet.
Yeah.
The older I got, the more interested in the booklet I was. But I don't really remember, growing up, there's like very little information as far as story was concerned was put into these booklets.
I was also only 4 years old when this game came out, so I probably just wanted to play the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely. So let's go on to graphics. I think for its time, it was really good.
good.
I had very few problems with the graphics itself. There was a few just like weird spots that I didn't really know what was going on. Like, the water, that level with the tank.
The mud.
Yeah, where
was
you
it
could
mud
fall
or
in the
lava or
you
water?
could fall in the water, but you didn't really know that it was water until you fell in and
Yeah.
realized that, oh, well, it's water, you're fine. But I mean, overall, I didn't really have any complaints about the graphics. I didn't really notice any glitches or anything.
Mario Maker came out, you got to switch between the different Marios and stuff, and this definitely was its own signature
Oh yeah,
Mario,
absolutely.
and like it has its
Well,
own
they
look.
Mario 1 and 2 have their own
Right.
signature look, and they kind of have up until about Mario 64, where
I just have to say between 1 and this one, the 3 or 3.5 or 2.5, I don't know. It's a vast change.
well, you're looking at two big leaps in
A short
time. Mario 1, I don't know the release date of Mario 1 off the top of my head, but I think that was launch with the Nintendo. So I mean,
Sure.
you're looking at the beginning of the generation of the Nintendo system with Mario 1, and then at the very end with Mario 3. I mean, you look at Mario 3 and Mario World, and there's not there's obviously differences. There's graphical quality ups, but you can see where they took that same design and that same concept and just transferred it over to Mario World.
Yeah, because then they had the whole world structure, traveling from point to point like Mario 3, and
Yeah.
you getting the power-ups, the ability to fly, and then they just like kept adding stuff. Like, it actually laid the groundwork for a lot of things that we see now in Mario games.
I also really like the overworld idea. Mario 2, I think, had a similar concept where you could kind of see you're going from, they had a dot and then a line and then another dot for you're going from world to world. But Mario 1, it was just like, here you are in level
Yeah,
1, world
here's the
1,
next
level
one,
1,
here's the
here's
next
the
one,
you're
here's the
right.
next
So to have that overworld concept was really neat, and it really did lay that groundwork for what Mario World turned into.
What I liked, which wasn't a big deal, but the pixel art, as far as like the single pictures, like when you go to Toad and you get something out of, or even the little mini games and stuff, it's all pixelated art. You know?
Yeah,
and you didn't really see that. That I don't know if that's might be my time. I don't know.
you're talking about the Toad houses.
The Toad houses, well, you go in and you see your Mario is facing Toad or Luigi, and
You're talking about like the game where you line up the stuff. And
yeah,
you get,
that's
like,
one of them.
yeah.
But they actually have a picture of Mario just standing there, and it's all a bigger picture. It's not just a sprite anymore. It's an actual picture, pixelated, and I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I like that too. And he actually changes outfits depending on what superpower he has too. So
and he's different sizes too, which I always thought was so funny.
it does seem
Mario,
weird, but I mean, you get the concept. Like if you have the mushroom on the overworld, he's a little bit bigger, and then you go into the Toad house, he's bigger size than the Toad house. And then if you go into the Toad house with or not, it's the card game or whatever.
Yeah.
But you go in with your Tanuki suit, he's wearing the Tanuki suit. It's cool. I like that idea. I like that they put that little bit of detail. I also wanted to talk about the bosses and Bowser, how they looked.
Yeah.
I really liked Bowser's design. I really did.
I think this is one of my favorites.
He looked very sleek and just clean. Where in the original Mario, he just I haven't seen him in Mario 3 or Mario 2, so I have no idea what he looks like. But I was pleasantly surprised with the Mario 3 design of Bowser.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he stands out because out of everything, when you see him, he looks so vastly different than any game thing that you're playing through. So, you see how Mario looks, but then when you see Bowser, like you said, it's just... There's a vast difference between how Bowser looks, between how the rest of the game looks. That last level, just looks differently, with all the bricks and the detail that's put into it.
Oh, yeah. And again, going back to laying the groundwork for what Mario World became. I mean, the puzzle, and this is more gameplay, but the puzzle that the last dungeon was, where you had to figure out which tunnel to go down. You're seeing how they really transferred that idea and concept into Mario World. And it's neat to see that, having just played Mario World not that long ago.
As simple as some of these levels were with just the blocks and stuff, they had a lot of detail into some of these other little things. Like the ships and the little what were they? The Bowser statues shooting little laser beams at you.
Oh, yeah,
They just had little different things.
That really took me by surprise, too, the laser beams.
It's just, it was very simplistic in certain areas and very detailed in others, and it was a very nice balance. So yeah, I gave graphics 7 out of 10.
I did too.
Nice.
7. I thought it was a fair score. It wasn't above and beyond. It wasn't pushing the limits of what a Nintendo could do. I think it could have. It probably deserves a bit of a better score, but I mean, I thought a 7 was fair, considering how awesome the gameplay was.
Sure.
So, speaking of, let's move on to gameplay. When you first are introduced to Mario 3, you're kind of given this simplistic, first world. Mm-hmm. The first level is real simple, real easy, but looking at Mario 1... which isn't a fair comparison, but it's about all I got. The complexity is there. They really show you a ton of different, the variety of enemies. You've got the flying Goomba. You've got, the fire shooting.
The little piranha plants. And stuff. Well, and on top of that, you've got the different outfits. Too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you're seeing all the different outfits that they didn't really have in Mario 2.
Speaking of, what was your favorite?
We didn't play it, but I really like the Hammer Bros outfit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite. I think it's just because it's so rare to have the Hammer Bros.
We didn't play it?
No, we didn't.
We had it.
I had it, but I didn't use it.
Wow.
And I think it was after the reset.
Oh.
Because I had it up until that reset, and then,
What was your favorite?
Probably the Power Leaf.
Really?
I mean, just because I used it
so
much. I mean, I do like the boot, though, even though that's not really
boot
power.
is
But
really cute.
we never really got to play it, but, playing as the little boot, and then you can hop across all the little,
I always
things.
liked the frog just because it was so cute. But the boot is really cute though. Can't you use a high heel too, or is that just the Mario Maker?
I think that's just Mario Maker.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, but I think it's just Mario Maker.
No, I the only thing that really kind of stuck out to me that was bad per se for gameplay was well, for one thing, the flying seemed very I don't know if it was the controller or if it was the actual gameplay, but I had troubles keeping flying going very well. And I also noticed that you would, like, walk up to an enemy and you wouldn't even touch a pixel to them and you would die.
Yeah.
And then you would totally, like, where you should have died, not die.
Yeah.
It just, it was like, it just was very touchy in strange ways. Sometimes it was luck, like a stroke of luck if you didn't die or whatnot.
It kind of goes into level design in general. The level design of all of this whole game was a lot more challenging than Mario 1 or 2, but it really even more so than Mario World. And it could be just the graphical limitations of Mario 3 that you didn't really know what you could jump on and what you couldn't. But I think that there was definitely a difficulty spike, especially when you got to like World 7. And now to be fair, we were whirlwind from World 2 straight to World 6, I think, or 7. We went to 7, then we went to 8. So, I mean, obviously you're going to see a difficulty spike there. But, then you go into World 8, and it's, like, super hard. We died so many times, and there's not that much to help you in terms of gaining levels or gaining lives. Like in Mario World, you can kind of go back and play those levels again, get more extra lives or whatever you can do. But in this game, you didn't. The only way you could get extra lives was by the card game or by gaining the stars at the very end. You might be able to do it with coins too.
I think, though, that's kind of where the power-ups kind of came into play. It was supposed to aid you more and so you wouldn't die.
Yeah, I see that. But when you're looking at World 8, I mean, we played World 8 like crazy.
Now, the power-ups, we flew through these levels no problem whatsoever. Do you think that kind of took away from the game? No?
Brandon says no.
No. I mean,
I guess it gives you more freedom to go where you want.
I say yes, it did take away from the game. Only because at the very end they scroll through all the levels, and there was a lot of really cool levels that I wish I would have experienced. Not to say that I want to actually go through every level and, beat every single level, but I would like to experience each of the worlds. And I suppose we could have used the flute to go from world to world.
I guess alternatively though, we had Brandon who had played this game before. We never really beat this when we were kids.
No, we didn't.
But I guess you would really have to play the game to know how to get the flutes to begin with.
They're secret. Let's talk about the bosses a little bit, because I thought that it was a neat way. All the bosses were pretty much the same until you got towards the end and you started seeing like I guess they were all pretty much the same. You only had like maybe 3 different bosses. There was the Hammer Bros, or you had the like little spiky guy that you had to jump on 3 times. And then you had the wand, the guys inside the flying ships that shot the wands.
And all those are different for each world too.
They're different.
Aren't the guys holding the wands?
They're different.
Yes,
they're different sprites. They're different characters, but they're not different boss.
Yeah, you just
they're
beat them all the same way.
Yeah, they're the same.
Rinse, repeat.
Then Bowser was really cool. I thought that was a really neat take on a boss fight. And I think, again, going back to laying the groundwork for Mario World, where every boss is pretty much different, to have Bowser be so interestingly unique was very nice. It was very neat.
Well, it's weird because the game teaches you to be offensive the whole time.
Yeah,
you go after
true.
everything, and then you get to the last boss, and it's like, okay, avoid them.
Yeah.
And make them fall.
That's true.
You don't go for any hits whatsoever, and you just try to make them fall through.
If you're just playing it for the first time, to get to Bowser alone is a feat. And then you get there and it's like, okay, now what do I do? And then you die and you got to go all the way back. And if you die, and you lose all your lives, then you have to start all the way back to the beginning again and have to beat all those levels again. And
Kid me,
it is so hard.
Kid me would never have been able to
me
do this
neither.
at all.
Not without the Game Genie.
No.
And even adult me couldn't do it without the Game Genie.
We were a little more crunched for time, but still.
Yeah, so I'm going to explain this now. I feel awful. And any fans that are any listeners who are mad at me, that's fine. Email in with your hate mail. I'll receive it with grace. But we used a Game Genie in World 8. We got to the point where we were dying just so many times that it was easier to just put in infinite lives and jump straight to World 8 than to sit and replay all these levels over and over and over and over again. And we wanted to beat this in, that same stream day.
We were already at level World 8. We just had to reset the Nintendo to put in the Game Genie.
Right. So the only code we really utilized was infinite lives. So, we still had to beat the levels. We still had to, make it through all of it. We could still die. It was just, when we died, we had to start the level over instead of starting the whole world over again. And again, that was mostly to save time more than anything else. Between all of us, because there was a lot of us playing, if we all had an extra day to play this, I probably would have just said, that's fine, we'll just leave it paused and we'll come back the next day. And Kid Me would have done that.
I have to say, that last level, it was all you guys. It was just Brandon and Danny.
Well,
it was just Brandon,
even
really.
Still, once we did that, it still took a
really,
couple hours, for us to get through World 8.
I didn't write down the full time, and I'll have to look at it.
Well, I believe the estimated time was like 6 hours for full defeat of the game.
I think we were getting pretty close to that. I think by the time we finished, it was probably about 6 hours.
I wonder, though, if that was including with the whistles or not, because this was, ridiculous. We skipped a lot of...
It had to have been with the whistles. Because, there's no way... World 8 alone, unless you're a master at this game, World 8 alone was taking us, almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
We got to World 8 in a heartbeat, and then you start getting further, and it was tough. It was a tough game, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
I really did. Yeah, it was a great game.
My anxiety levels were spiking all throughout.
I liked
game.
that though. I liked when we finally got past that spot and we're all like, it was awesome. It made me feel good when we finally beat a level, after playing it,
over
7, 8, 9 times, and you finally get it, and then it feels great and then you die and you got to do it all over again. But, by then you kind of get the hang of what you're doing and, where you got to jump and what you got to do. But I gave it a 9 out of 10 for gameplay.
I gave it a 6.
What?
I know. I don't know. I stand by it too. It was a hard game.
Is it just because it was a hard game that you gave it a 6?
It was a hard game. It was touchy. I just didn't feel like it flowed as well, running through the level. I don't know. It didn't flow very well for me.
I understand that concept now that you say it. In most Mario games that I've played, which is really just like Mario 1 and Mario World, you can kind of do this turbo run through the level. And
you can't really do that with this one.
I've trained myself to do that so often. Yeah, in this game, you really can't do that unless you know exactly where to jump. Unless you're a master at this game, just casually playing through it, you really got to take your time and plan your jumps and plan where you're going. Otherwise, you just keep jumping and you're falling off the edge, running into enemies.
It's I don't know. That's a frustrating thing for me. And so I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's not like I gave it a 4 or anything.
Yeah, I thought the gameplay was one of its highlights, so I was just kind of surprised. But no, that's fine. You can give it whatever score you want to give it.
You can murder this game if you want.
You're fair.
Holy
it's
moly.
fine. So let's move on to music. I really like the music. What?
We're gonna be complete opposites on this score.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Okay, I initially gave this an 8 out of 10, and Brandon was whispering in my ear, no. And to me, I really liked the music. It was I would say on par with Super Mario World. I think it was
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's very iconic. And I really enjoyed it. Every world had its own theme. Every overworld had its own theme song, and that made it really fun. It was very Mario, but it wasn't too generic Mario.
Right.
Like some of the newer games are kind of just it's just Mario music. Where this game had different themes and different melodies that really kind of stuck in your head. Mm-hmm. And I mean, shoot, the next couple days I was singing it,
I got one in my head now. It definitely. Well, it really just helped define its own Mario 3 themeness. Like
that's what they were going for.
And they did a really good job.
And it every time you hear those songs, there's something about it that feels Mario 3 about it. I don't know if it's just I'm so used to the game that I know what Mario 3 is, but even some of the songs that I hadn't heard before, like the World 8 stuff. I have never played World 8. It's just I could tell that it was Mario 3,
So what did you give it?
I give it a 9.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a 7 or something.
Why?
No, I thought that's what you were going to score by your reaction.
Oh, why?
I don't know.
Just saying that I really liked it.
We gave it a 9 out of 10.
And then you said, oh, we're going to be very different. And I thought, oh, crap, you're going to hate this.
No, I thought you were going to score a low for a minute.
Oh, no. I liked it.
Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page then for music. I love the when you start running the...
Oh, the like or the
when he's dashing,
high speed.
Yeah. Definitely the sound effects are very good. I think, like the when you're flapping your tail or whatever.
Oh yeah. And the raccoon when he's flying, the tail flapping. Yeah, I liked the. Hey, this is more graphics than it is music, but when he gets the star power up, I like that he did the somersault through the air.
Awesome.
That's
I like
fun.
that too. I wish they had really done that more in its next game. That would have been more.
It would have been fun. So yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10 for music.
9 out of 10, good.
Overall, it's a great game. I think it's
a hard game.
It is difficult, but that's part of what makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those games to have in your Nintendo library.
Yeah.
Mario 1 and Mario 3. Mario 2 can go somewhere else because I don't care. But Mario 1 and Mario 3, if you have a Nintendo, those are the games that you want. There's very few other games that if you have a Nintendo, you have to have this. Punch-Out! Maybe might be one of those games that you have to have. Maybe Zelda, which I don't have, actually. I have Zelda 2, but I don't have the first one. I know it's sad. I need it.
I gave this a 7 out of 10.
For overall?
Overall, yes. I think I would have liked to have given it an 8, but this was not my favorite Mario. I know it was Brandon's absolute favorite, but it wasn't mine, and I think because it was so hard. Like, even now, I think if I were to boot up my Nintendo and play some games, I would play this for maybe an hour, and then I would move on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I liked the way that every world was very different and unique.
Mm-hmm. Its own little theme.
It was not just
like your
theme,
sand and your
not just theme, but I mean just everything about it was unique. The enemies were unique.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was unique. The music was unique, and I really just enjoyed that. And that's what makes me play it again, is to go through and not play it all the way through again, but I mean just to experience some of those levels. And I think typically if I just sit down and play this game, I play it until about World 3, I get the flute, and then I'm like, yes, I got the flute, and then I turn it off. So, I mean, replayability is definitely there, but it's more of just a game where you throw in for a little bit, you play a couple levels and turn it off. But I still gave it an 8 out of 10 for overall. I liked how everything went very well together. Cohesive, package.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, I enjoyed it overall.
Overall? So you gave it a what again? An 8?
An 8 for overall, yeah.
An 8 out of 10, and I gave it a 7 out of 10.
So that brought my score to 40.
Mine to 32. It's because I bombed on the story.
That's a 72. That's not bad. That's a C. I really enjoyed just playing it on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Just having the original Nintendo to sit, and the controllers are uncomfortable, and I think my thumb is still sore from playing, but it was fun to boot up the original Nintendo, and I even having that small fear of it could reset at any time,
And there were a couple times where some cats would get up here and be like, no.
Don't reset
Don't
it.
even breathe on it.
My Nintendo has been refurbished by myself, and I'm proud of it, and I don't think it'll reboot unless the game is dirty, but it stayed strong, and we got the Game Genie in, and that worked okay. But I'm still kind of bitter about having to use the Game Genie. It's sad just because I've worked so hard not to cheat in any of these games that we've reviewed. Even though I could, I did really hard not to cheat.
If we hadn't have started as late as I think if we had started like just a little bit
earlier, we would have just dealt with it. Yeah, you're probably right.
We were going into what, 12 in the morning when we were playing this?
I think it was like past midnight when we finally finished it and said goodnight.
Yeah.
The only other game that I wanted to cheat on so bad was Final Fantasy 1.
Oh my gosh,
I wanted to cheat on that game, so I just needed like 5 more levels. I grinded through it, and it was torment. But
gosh, I hated that game.
I know.
It was no secret.
So, any final thoughts? No? Alright, well, let's talk about our Thrift Shop game review, or our Thrift Shop game of the month.
This was a good one. I like this one, only because I won.
That's probably true. I mean, it was definitely true that you won, but that's probably why. The game is called Anticipation. And
we didn't know what to anticipate.
It was actually from Rare, which I thought was an interesting...
you booted this up, and I looked at it, I'm like, what the heck are we playing?
Yeah, Rare, the makers of Donkey Kong Country. It basically was a board game style where every round you had like a drawing that was being done.
They were like connect the dots.
Yeah, they were. It was kind of like win, lose, or draw.
Yeah,
I guess whoever like chimed in first, got to
you had to put in the letters to guess
the answer.
And there was like these different tiers, and like the different tiers were the different difficulties. So at the beginning you would have
the dots and a clue.
A clue and how many letters there were.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the next one, the dots disappeared, right?
Yeah.
And then the next one, the title disappeared, whatever the theme was.
But in the third one, you didn't get anything.
Yeah, you just had to guess what they were drawing.
You didn't. Not only did you have no clue with the title, but you also had no dots, and you had no spaces for how many letters was the answer.
Yeah.
So it was fun though. I
really liked this game.
You could play up to 4 players, which.
It was weird.
I got it. No, I understood. I mean, they only have 2 controllers.
Right, I know.
So, I mean, one person has the D-pad, one person has the button, and that's your way of chiming in.
Well, it was set up like you had to either select the buttons and the D-pad, or it was very...
you chimed in, yeah.
They visualized what you were doing.
If you want to watch our gameplay of Anticipation... You can check that out at zapnight.com, where you can find our YouTube channel, and everything should be on YouTube, at least by the time you're hearing this. We're also planning on having our gameplay of Mario 3 on YouTube eventually. I don't have it up just yet, but I should have it put together and something up soon. Pretty much anything that we've ever done is on zapnight.com. Check us out there, send us an email, let us know how awful we are because we use the Game Genie.
Never mention this again.
So yeah, next month is kind of up in the air. I think we might be playing
Cool Spots.
I don't know. You think you're gonna be able to do another?
We'll see.
All right, we'll see. So we'll throw it up on the website if you're interested. You can check us out at zapnight.com. Yeah, we'll see what we end up doing. So thanks for listening, and you guys have a great month.
Alrighty, bye bye.